The scariest part about being a single mom isn't raising a child alone. It's realizing that if something happens to you, there may be no one coming to help. No husband, no roommate, no one to hear you scream in the middle of the night. Every year across the United States, thousands of single mothers report terrifying incidents that begin with something small. A knock at the door, a strange phone call, a child talking to someone who isn't there. Most people dismiss these stories as stress, exhaustion, or coincidence until it's too late. These are 3 stories from women who say one ordinary night changed their lives forever. The first happened in October of 2021 inches, a quiet neighborhood outside Columbus, Ohio. 29-year-old Rachel had been raising her 6-year-old son, Noah, by herself for almost 3 years. After her divorce, she rented a small 1-story house at the end of a peaceful cul-de-sac. It wasn't fancy, but it was safe. Or at least, that's what she believed. Rachel worked remotely as a customer service representative, which meant she spent most of her days inside the house while Noah attended 1st grade. Life was predictable. School, homework, dinner, bedtime. The routine helped both of them heal after the divorce. Around 2 weeks after moving in, Noah started saying something strange. "Mom, the man outside waves at me every morning." Rachel smiled without looking up from her laptop. "What man?" "The one by the mailbox." She glanced through the front window. No one was there. Maybe it was the mailman. "No, he wears black clothes." Rachel laughed softly. "Sweetie, you're probably imagining things. Children imagine monsters all the time. Invisible friends, shadow people." It didn't concern her until Noah mentioned him again. This time during dinner. "He smiled today." Rachel set down her fork. "Who did?" "The mailbox man." "What did he look like?" Noah shrugged. "I don't know. He stays too far away. But he always knows when I'm looking." Something about that answer unsettled her. The next morning, after dropping Noah off at school, Rachel checked the security camera above the front porch. Nothing unusual. Delivery trucks, neighbors walking dogs, a jogger around 7:30. No mysterious man. She forgot about it. 3 nights later, just after 11, Rachel was watching television when her phone buzzed. A motion alert from the front door camera. She opened the live feed. The porch was empty. The sidewalk was empty. No movement. She assumed a cat had triggered the sensor. Then another alert appeared. Backyard motion detected. Rachel frowned. Her backyard was surrounded by a 6-foot wooden fence. Nobody should have been there. She switched cameras. Again. Nothing. Only darkness. The next morning, she checked the recorded footage. At exactly 11:17 p.m., the front camera activated. The video showed an empty porch for several seconds. Then, very slowly, the porch swing began moving, back and forth, back and forth. There was no wind. The trees remained perfectly still. Rachel stared at the footage. Maybe an animal had jumped onto it. She zoomed in. Nothing. The swing simply moved by itself. She showed the video to her neighbor the following afternoon. He shrugged. "Loose chain. Probably nothing." She wanted to believe him. That night, Noah refused to sleep. He came closer. Rachel sighed. "Who?" "The mailbox man. He stood by my window." A chill ran through her. "Noah, that's not funny." "I'm not joking." He smiled. She searched every room in the house. Checked every window. Nothing. She even walked outside with a flashlight. The neighborhood was completely quiet. The following week passed without incident. Rachel started convincing herself the stress of single parenting was making her overreact. Until Halloween, their neighborhood organized a small trick-or-treat event. Children filled the sidewalks. Parents laughed. Music played from decorated front yards. Everything felt perfectly normal. Rachel and Noah walked from house to house collecting candy. Around 7:30, Noah suddenly stopped walking. He squeezed Rachel's hand so tightly it hurt. "There he is." Rachel looked down. "Who?" "The mailbox man." She followed Noah's gaze. Across the street, between 2 parked cars, a tall man wearing a black hoodie stood perfectly still. His face remained hidden beneath the hood. Hundreds of people surrounded them, yet no one else seemed to notice him. Rachel stared for several seconds. When she looked away to help Noah with his candy bucket, the man was gone. She hurried across the street. Nothing. No footsteps. No nearby alley. He had simply disappeared. That night, after putting Noah to bed, Rachel couldn't stop thinking about it. Maybe she'd actually seen someone. Maybe Noah wasn't imagining things after all. At 1:42 a.m., Another motion alert woke her. Backyard. She immediately opened the camera feed. Nothing. Then, another alert. Kitchen window. Her stomach tightened. She quietly walked into the hallway. Everything inside the house was silent. She reached the kitchen. The window was closed. Locked. She looked outside. Darkness. Then, tap. A single tap against the glass. Rachel froze. Another tap. This time, from the opposite side of the window. Someone was outside. She grabbed her phone and switched to the backyard camera. The image loaded. At first, she saw only her fence. Then the camera adjusted. Standing directly beneath it was a man wearing black, looking straight into the camera. His face was hidden, but one pale hand slowly lifted. Not to wave, to point. Toward the second-floor bedroom window. Rachel's heart stopped. There was no second floor. Her house only had one level. Slowly, very slowly, she turned around and realized the man wasn't pointing at her house. He was pointing at the reflection in the kitchen window. Someone was standing behind her. Rachel couldn't breathe. Every instinct told her not to turn around. If someone really was standing behind her, then they were already inside the house. Her fingers tightened around the phone until they hurt. The reflection in the dark kitchen window wasn't clear. It was just enough to make out the outline of someone standing only a few feet behind her. Tall, completely still. She swallowed hard, then spun around. The kitchen was empty. No one. Only the refrigerator humming softly in the corner. Rachel's eyes darted across every doorway. Living room, hallway, laundry room, nothing. She looked back at the phone. The backyard camera now showed only the fence. The man had vanished. She didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The following morning, she convinced herself exhaustion had played tricks on her. She barely closed her eyes anymore, working all day, taking care of Noah, constantly worrying. Anyone could start imagining things. Still, she called the security company and asked them to inspect every camera. 2 technicians arrived that afternoon. After checking each device, one of them frowned. Your cameras are working perfectly. So why am I getting alerts with nobody there? The technician hesitated because he replayed one of the recordings. The motion detection box appeared on screen, except it wasn't highlighting empty space. It outlined something, a human-shaped figure, completely invisible to the camera. The software clearly recognized a person, but the video showed nothing. Rachel stared in disbelief. Can software malfunction like that? The technician shrugged. I've never seen it. He reset the system before leaving. That evening, Noah came home unusually quiet. He didn't touch his dinner, didn't watch television. He simply sat at the table staring toward the front door. Finally, Rachel asked, "What's wrong?" Noah whispered, "He knows your name now." Rachel felt cold. "Who does?" "The mailbox man. He said Rachel shouldn't answer the door tomorrow." Rachel forced herself to smile. "Sweetie, did someone say that to you at school?" Noah shook his head. "He told me through my window." Rachel immediately called the school. Teachers confirmed nobody had approached Noah during recess. No strangers had been reported. She never told them why she was asking. The next afternoon, around 3 o'clock, someone knocked on the front door. 3 slow knocks. Rachel checked the video doorbell. A delivery driver stood on the porch holding a medium-sized cardboard box. She opened the door. "Package for Rachel Morgan." "I didn't order anything. No return address." He handed her the box anyway. The shipping label contained only her name and address. Nothing else. Rachel carried it inside. Noah watched silently from the couch. She opened the box carefully. Inside was a brand new children's coloring book, a box of crayon, and a folded sheet of paper. She unfolded it. It wasn't a letter. It was a colored drawing, obviously made by a child. The picture showed her house, a woman, a little boy, and a tall man standing beside them. Written across the top in uneven handwriting were 6 words. "Now we can be a family." Rachel's blood ran cold. She looked toward Noah. He was already crying. "I didn't draw that. I promise." Rachel believed him. That night, she contacted the police. 2 officers arrived within 20 minutes. They searched the property, collected the drawing, examined the package. There were no fingerprints except Rachel's and the delivery driver's. The driver confirmed someone had paid cash at a small shipping store earlier that morning. The security cameras there had been broken for weeks. Officer Daniels tried reassuring her. "Most likely an obsessed prankster. Do you have an ex-boyfriend?" She shook her head. "No." "What about your ex-husband?" "He lives 3 states away." The officers increased patrols in the neighborhood. For several nights, nothing happened. Rachel almost began relaxing again. Then, One rainy Friday evening, Noah ran into the living room, holding his tablet. Mom, someone sent me a message. Rachel frowned. No one should be able to message you. His tablet only had educational apps. She looked at the screen. There was no messaging app open, only the camera. Across the bottom of the screen, white text slowly appeared by itself. Look outside. Rachel grabbed the tablet. The message disappeared. Then another appeared. He's waiting. She walked carefully to the living room window. The rain blurred everything outside. Streetlights reflected across the wet pavement. No people, no cars, nothing. Then, lightning flashed. For a fraction of a second, a man stood beside the mailbox. Black hoodie, hands in his pockets, facing the house. The darkness returned. Rachel pulled the curtain aside again. The mailbox was empty. She immediately locked every door, checked every window, turned off every light except one in the hallway. She placed Noah in her bedroom, telling him not to come out no matter what happened. Around midnight, the power went out. The entire house fell silent. Only rain tapped against the roof. Rachel reached for her flashlight. Before she could turn it on, someone knocked. Not at the front door, not at the back. From inside Noah's bedroom. 3 slow knocks. Rachel's heart stopped. Noah was supposed to be asleep in her room. The knocking came again. Knock, knock, knock. Then Noah screamed, "Mom, he's in the hallway." Rachel ran. She didn't think. She didn't stop to grab her phone. The only thing that mattered was getting to Noah. She burst into her bedroom. Noah was sitting upright in the middle of the bed, trembling so violently he could barely speak. His eyes were fixed on the bedroom door. "Mom, he's outside." Rachel locked the bedroom door and pulled Noah behind her. "What did you see?" He walked past the hallway. He didn't make any noise. He just smiled. Rachel listened. Nothing. No footsteps, no breathing, only the rain pounding against the roof. Then, the bedroom doorknob slowly turned. Once, twice, 3 times. Someone was trying the handle. Rachel grabbed the heavy dresser beside the wall and shoved it against the door. The knob stopped moving. "Silence," she whispered to Noah. "Stay here." He grabbed her wrist. "Don't leave. I'm just calling 911. She unlocked her phone. No service, not even an emergency signal. Her flashlight flickered to life. The beam landed on the bedroom window. Something was wrong. The muddy footprints she'd seen in the backyard earlier were now on the outside of the glass. One, then another. They didn't lead toward the window. They led straight up the wall, as if someone had climbed vertically to the roof. Rachel's blood ran cold. No human being could leave footprints like that. Then came another sound. A child's laughter. Not Noah's, a little girl, somewhere inside the house. Noah buried his face against Rachel's shoulder. "I told you, he isn't alone." The bedroom light suddenly turned on, then off, then on again, even though the electricity was supposed to be out. The lamp beside the bed glowed for only a second, long enough for Rachel to see a shadow standing in the corner, dull, motionless, watching them. The light died again. Darkness returned. Rachel swung the flashlight toward the corner. Empty. Nothing there. Her phone vibrated. Somehow, despite having no signal, a new notification appeared. It wasn't a text. It was a photo, taken only seconds earlier. Rachel opened it. Her hands immediately began shaking. The picture showed the inside of her bedroom. It had been taken from the ceiling. Looking down at her and Noah, she slowly raised the flashlight toward the ceiling. Nothing except white paint. Then, another notification appeared. A second photograph, this one closer, as if whoever was taking the pictures had moved nearer. The third notification arrived before she could breathe. This time, only Noah appeared in the frame. Rachel looked around wildly. "Who's doing this?" No answer. Instead, a soft male voice spoke from the hallway. "I've been waiting for this house." Rachel recognized the voice instantly. It wasn't the man she'd seen outside. It was calm, older, almost gentle. The same voice she'd heard years earlier at the courthouse. Her ex-husband's father, Harold. She hadn't spoken to him since the divorce. Harold had blamed her for taking Noah away from the family. He'd sent angry emails for months before disappearing completely. Rachel slowly approached the bedroom door. "Harold, silence." Then, a quiet chuckle. "You finally remembered me." Rachel's fear shifted into confusion. Harold lived nearly 500 miles away. How could he possibly be here? She called through the door. "What do you want?" His answer came immediately. "My grandson." Noah began crying. Rachel held him tightly. Then, headlights swept across the bedroom window. A police cruiser. Officer Daniels. He'd promised to drive through the neighborhood every night. Rachel screamed, "Help!" She banged against the window. The patrol car slowed, stopped. Officer Daniels stepped out. He looked toward the house. Rachel waved frantically. Then, the officer suddenly turned around, walked back to his cruiser, and drove away as if he hadn't seen her at all. Rachel couldn't believe it. The bedroom door shook violently. Once, twice. The dresser slid several inches across the floor. Another shove. The wood cracked. Rachel knew the door wouldn't hold much longer. She grabbed Noah. "There's another way." The bedroom closet contained a small attic access panel. She'd noticed it when moving in, never used it. Now it was their only chance. She pushed the panel open and lifted Noah inside first. "Hurry." He crawled into the darkness above. Rachel followed, pulling the panel shut just as the bedroom door exploded inward below them. Heavy footsteps entered the room. She covered Noah's mouth with her hand. The attic was completely dark. Only tiny beams of moonlight filtered through roof vents. Below them, someone walked slowly across the bedroom. One step. Pause. Another step. Then, the footsteps stopped directly beneath the attic hatch. Rachel stopped breathing. A long silence followed. Then came 3 slow knocks from underneath the attic door. Knock, knock, knock. A calm voice drifted upward. "I know you're still here." The hatch handle began to move. Very, very slowly.